All right, so the season has come to an end. You can see all my players have gone on holidays. So how did we end up finishing up in the Russian Premier League with FC Khimki? I will show you that in a second. In terms of the star performers this season, I mean, there are three players which really stood out. One is Nazari Rusin, who is on loan from Dynamo Kiev, and you can see he's put away 22 goals in 32 appearances this season for me. So him as an advanced forward, he was pretty much our major attacking threat. Um, Everyone else sort of contributed a few goals here and there, but 22 goals from him, he really carried us home. And I did get quite a few goals from our centre backs, which were mainly from corners. Um, we did have Nugemba, who scored quite a few really good free kicks as well, who contributed from that inside forward position. But the three major players, Nazari Rusin, and I would say Philip Dagestal, who's been a rock in the back. He's been amazing. Um, did score quite a few of those goals. And Usman Silla, who came in um, at that sort of summer transfer window when we were back from the mid-season break in Russia. So you can see he's got some pretty decent mental stats, good passing. He's a great ball-playing defender, but he did win a lot of corners. I mean, a lot of headed small corners. He's got very good bravery, decent jump. So he has been really amazing. Both of those two players, solid in the back. You can see their rating for the past 5 games, 7.26. I also got to mention Jose Hernandez in goalkeeper. Made some amazing saves, really kept us in some games against the bigger teams. You can see his rating is 7.5 in the past 5 games, 7.4 overall. So the defenders have been playing really well recently. They've been fantastic. The attackers, I mean, I guess they could be better, but our goal was to avoid relegation. And how did we do at the end? We finished ninth with Khimki with 41 points, mid-table, fairly safe. So outside the relegation mark. So this was good. We got our 2.8 million prize money for finishing ninth. Also, our board threw in 2.2 million to help with the running of the club because there is a bit of a financial problem within the club. Not because of me. When I took over, I had about a mil something transfer budget, and the wage budget was something like 150k. So 150, 160k. So this is what I was spending at, and then halfway through the season, the board went, okay, we're in a financial problem. We're going to drop our wage budget, and for next season, we're going to make it 89k, drop the transfer budget to 790k. So there is a bit of a problem with the finances within this team. So there will be some players that need to be sold. But I did sign quite a lot of young talent from overseas that can be sold at a decent profit. You got this guy here, Nenan Savage as well. Where is you got this guy that I put on loan. So there are quite a few players that can be sold. Peter Branicki, who is this Polish striker. So hopefully down the line, a few big teams can come up and pick these guys up for quite a few million to help the team out. But otherwise, there will have to be some restructuring done. In terms of the tactics, this is the major tactic that I used during the season. So I did have those two defensive midfield players who would stop the counter-attacks against the bigger teams, and then I'll try to hit teams on the break. So play direct to the wingers, the forwards, and then this is where Rusin will be put through and put it away. In terms of the instructions, this is sort of what I went with generally. Sometimes I'll tweak this depending on game to game. So passing, directness, I kept it as standard, high tempo, play out of defense so we can sort of have the freedom to go wherever. I sometimes use shoot on sight to see if I can nab a goal and then sit back, or work ball into box. So I did play around with both. Both can be effective in their own right. I find that with work ball into box, because my players are not as good in attack to be able to hold the ball around the box, pass and look for a gap. I found that I got counter-attacked quite a bit, where that we'll lose the ball and then the big team will sort of just get it up forward, and then they'll hit me on the break. So sometimes I just play shoot on sight. As soon as we get into the final third, get the shot off, play for set pieces as well. So if it goes out for a corner, We've got some decent defenders who can put some headers away. In transition, this is how we're doing it. So counter press, counter, distribute across the back line. Sometimes I do distribute to centre backs, but at times when a team pushes up, they'll mark my centre backs out from distributing short. So I do have that option to go to the fullbacks if they do have two up front, for example, pressing quite high. Out of possession, I got a standard defensive line, so I want to stop that ball over the top. That's the most dangerous thing, and you can see my sweeper keeper is there as well to clean up. So this worked for me fairly well. There is a bit of a gap between the forwards and the defense. Like, I know that. I should probably drop this a little bit as well, but I sort of do this intentionally, so when I counter-attack, these guys are quite high up. Maybe not the best thinking, but this is what I played with. Now, a mistake that I made is I should have got stuck in off, because I have got the worst disciplinary records. Got something like 5 yellow cards, 178 yellow cards, ridiculous. So I probably should have taken this off. At times I do take it off in away games, and I use get stuck in at home, so I can be a bit more aggressive. And I know the game, it rewards you being more aggressive. But yeah, we finished 9th, did fairly well. Now next season, what I've actually decided to do is I have received an offer from Desna Chernihiv, which is a Ukrainian Premier League team. So I'm going back to the Ukraine because I've got some unfinished business. It's been good in the Russian Premier League, but I feel like I do want to go back to Ukraine and just sort of take a team to the top there. It will be a challenge because there is no prize money for finishing. There's no TV revenue, so it's very difficult to make money. Essentially, the only way you can do it is through qualifying for Europe and then try to get money from TV revenues from Europe, or just selling players, buy someone for cheap and sell them off to a couple mil for two richer teams. So that's going to be the challenge. So I'll be taking over Desna Chernihiv, who ended up finishing 6th in the Ukraine Premier League, so they missed out on the European spot. So hopefully when I come in, we'll take him into a European competition and start to build from there, and try to challenge Dynamo Kiev and Shakhtar for the title. And who knows, down the line, when that's done, might come back to the Russian Premier League. I guess the thing that the challenges with MC Khimki for the next season, which I wasn't sort of looking forward to, is I do need to restructure quite a lot of the team because the wage budget dropped by quite a significant amount. A few players will need to be sold, maybe some staff who are getting paid too much. Get rid of those big earners to get under that, to get close to that 89k wage budget. So there is a lot of trimming that needs to be done. And also, of course, I can only have 8 foreign players, so I will need to have a bunch of Russian players in there still as well in the team, but I can only register 8 foreign players. What I might actually do is, with Desna Chernihiv, I'm actually go back and see if I can get some of these guys for my Desna team, since Khimki are in a financial situation, because I did a lot of scouting and I signed a lot of youth. I signed a lot of good players for the future. Unfortunately, not all of them can play. I think there was like 15 foreign players within this team, so a few of them couldn't even be registered. So let's see if I can take them over to Ukraine. But that's the FC Khimki season complete, 2nd season. It's been a good Russian journey, but back to Ukraine, and who knows, maybe I'll be back in Russia one day. But in the next video, you guys will see what I'm working with in the Desna team, and what tactics and formations I'll choose with them, and how I'm going to take that team forward.